Let's get 2023 off to a rollicking start as we look at no house advantage and playing versus the house. So Pete McCarthy, thanks for joining on our OddsShopper YouTube channel. Give us a like, subscribe, keep up with all of our shows, our DFS offers. We have giveaways that you want to keep up with as well. And once you do subscribe, you can hit that notification button. That's going to give you alerts when our shows go live. We're also available via podcast, which means you can take us on the go. You're going to the gym, you want something to listen to, you're in the car, boom. Check out the podcast and keep up on some of the best betting advice that you're going to get out there. No house advantage playing versus the house. We got a lot of games to choose from tonight. 11 games in all if you include the 3 o'clock game between the Suns and the Knicks, 3 o'clock Eastern time there. But we're going to look at the night slate, and we're going to start with Luka Doncic. Dude's been on a heater. We know what he's been doing of late, throwing himself in that MVP conversation. But we're going to take an under on Luka Doncic today, looking at his three-point line, which is pretty high at 3.5. Our projections have him at 2.7. 70% chance of this one coming in under, which is a pretty high rate looking at our free projections at Stochastic if you're trying to play versus the house on no house advantage. It's also one that is minus if you look at the sports books, or go to OddsShopper.com to check that one out. It's like minus 118 as of this morning. So the juice is against Doncic getting that fourth three-pointer tonight. Our projections have him well under hitting that fourth three-pointer. And you might say, well, this guy's scoring like crazy. I don't want to go against him. But even on this great heater that Doncic has been on, he's been under 4 3-pointers in 7 of his last 11 games. So he's not doing it from deep for the most part. And if you look overall this season, he's been under in 23 of 34 games. So you have the long-term trend, even with him on this hot streak. The short-term trend is there as well. Getting to 4 3-pointers is asking a lot, even for somebody like Luka Doncic. So that's one that I feel really good about. It's one of the better plays that I've seen no house advantage playing versus the house over the last few months. So, that's one you definitely want to look at. You don't typically see 70% chance of something coming in when you're looking at our projections over at Stochastic.com. And again, those are free. Go to Stochastic.com, NBA, down to free tools, and you can see NHA, no house advantage projections. Makes it really simple for you. We bring in the props as they get put up on no house advantage and compare them with our projections and give you a percentage chance of something's going to come in, over or under. I like to use the line of 60%. That's kind of my baseline of what I'm willing to play, and then I'll do some research and look and make sure that I like the play as well. But you could put together, let's say 5 out of 5. If you hit all 5, boom, you're getting 20 times your entry fee, which you just don't really see anywhere else, any other places that you could play. And what I like as well, today's a day where you can just put in 5 NBA plays. But if there's a smaller slate, you can mix in some NFL with Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, whatever it is. If you have a good feel for what's happening in the Bills-Bengals game today, you could throw in a couple of props there as well and link them all up. If you haven't signed up for No House Advantage, be sure to use the link below, and you get a $100 free deposit match. So you deposit $100, they're going to give you $100 to play with. On top of that, boom, you got $200 to play with. So be sure to check that out over at No House Advantage. And you can also play in the pick'em contest where you can hunt for the big prizes. For instance, the NBA contest tonight, first place is $5,000. I didn't look at the NFL, but it's generally $10,000 for first place. You got to beat out a lot of people, but if you get to the top of the leaderboard, you can clean up at No House Advantage. You typically see a lot of overlay there as well, which is something that you always want to try to take advantage of when it's available. All right, let's go to Tyrese Haliburton next. 2.5 3-pointers. Looking at the over here, right? We went under on Doncic. We're going over on Haliburton. Haliburton's actually by Stochastic for more 3-pointers than Doncic, but his line is 1 3-pointer lower. So that's the kind of thing that we like to see. 63% chance of Haliburton getting to that third 3-pointer tonight. And it makes sense because Haliburton has hit 3 triples in 60% of his games this year. Recently, he's a little up and down, right? He hit a franchise record 10 3-pointers a week ago. It's not really the norm for Haliburton. We don't need 10 3-pointers tonight. We just need 3. And he's been over in 4 of his last 6 games. So we have a little bit of a recent trend from Haliburton here to get to that third triple. If you consult OddsShopper, it's pretty even if you look at the sports books, but I always lean our projections, just my experience has told me they're very good, and they will help you out. So 63% chance of the over here, definitely in playable territory for Tyrese Haliburton. Let's go to LeBron James next. Looking at 6.5. We saw him play terrific on his 38th birthday, right? I mean, unbelievable. 47 points, I should say, in that game on his 38th birthday. We're looking at the under on the assists today, 6.5 assists. He's been under that at more than half the games that he's played this year. And until he had that big game on his birthday with 9 dimes, he hadn't been over that in 3 straight games. He hadn't reached 7 assists in 3 straight. So they got a little bit of a recent trend there. 61% chance this one coming under, which puts it in playable territory for me. Again, if you check out OddsShopper, which is always something that I like to reference just to compare our projections versus what the sports books might be thinking. They have this about even that LeBron is over or under the 6.5 assists. But again, I'm going to lean towards our projections, particularly when it's an under. I like the unders because weird things happen that aren't necessarily projectable, where a guy gets ejected from the game or foul trouble or some kind of injury pops up, right? So the unders are generally something that's nice to look at. So if I see 61% and it's an under, I'm going to look for that for LeBron James, 6.5 assists tonight, looking at the under. And again, OddsShopper not only good for consulting for the reasons I told you about in this video, but it'll give you the ability to maximize your profits because you can shop. Right? Some of the sports books have different lines than other sports books, or they have different juice on those lines. And if you have a feel about a play, or you like the projection on a given play, you might want to play it at different sports books, depending on how it's all coming together. So be sure to check that out over at OddsShopper, just a free tool for you to use. Best of luck tonight on these NBA streets, and Happy New Year.